Good evening and welcome to Undaunted, bringing into the news untold stories. I am Star Smart. Let's begin. While the Ambazonian Restoration Forces are focused, like its commander-in-chief and leader, President Samuel Sako, only focused on driving out the enemy, the genocidal and occupational La République du Cameroon forces, out of its territory, we have some derailing and tarnishing the images of what a real Amba fighter should really be. Well, tonight it is packed with more information on the happenings on home front, and yes, an exclusive interview session with the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, Mr. Eric Ate, who will be talking on the upcoming federal capital draft and the indictment, political intricacies revolving around it, something that we have been interested in knowing since we brought to you this case of the indictment. While ushering us into the amazing segment of Undaunted tonight, we have the prime headlines.
All right, prime headlines for today. Today we'll start with this particular story. The powerful Bowie warrior strikes at the heart of Kumbo local government area. Also today, armed Amba fighters failed to meet Mogamo Express manager, damages 4 buses on their way out. Also today, Commander Nto killed at Ntanke. Then very exclusively today, we will be receiving the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, Dr. Eric Ate. Now let's get the first story before we meet Mr. Eric. All right, fellow Ambazonians, it is also a pleasure before we start up today's to inform you that the president of Ambazonia, Dr. Samuel Sako, will be coming up at the top of the hour. That is 8 p.m. Amber time with the Brazilian TV. I'm sure that you wouldn't want to miss that. That comes up at exactly 8 p.m. Amber time. But before then, we have this report. On Wednesday, that was yesterday, December 7, 2022, it was another hot one all around Bowie. Now, the Bowie warriors, under the leadership of Major General Chokandu, launched a powerful attack on La République du Cameroon terrorists stationed in Tobin Kumbo local government area. Now, the attack came from multiple fronts designed to confuse the enemy and put them ahead. The warriors planned to start their attack at 6 p.m. Amber time when the terrorists were relaxing. Now, 3 of the terrorists were immediately neutralized at the prison yard. The attack came from multiple fronts and was designed to cause confusion within the enemy's camp. The terrorists turned their weapons against the terrorist Islamic Republic Democratic Army, with both sides thinking they were shooting at the Bowie warriors. Now, Ambazonians, this is where we will begin the full briefings of tonight. I am Oni Balance Desmart is here as always. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Onyi, and good evening, Ambazonians. It is interesting that the news of today starts with this fabulous, effortless victory. More than 10 La Republic terrorists are believed to have been killed, many sustaining life-threatening gunshot wounds from yesterday's battle. Of dead and injured caused by their friendly fire remains unknown. The Bowie warriors all returned back to base safe and sounded with jubilations on a successful mission.
Now, these brave warriors deserve what you can call a Christmas package from the Aboriginal people for their courage, bravery, and determination to wipe out La Republic terrorists from our land. We are calling on assist warriors in the land of no return to continue doing the necessary in fleeing homeland.
We the people, ABC Amba TV, Ambazonia Broadcasting Corporation. The voice of the voiceless, the voice of Ambazonia, connecting the world from Africa. With untold stories, Africa's best.
Well, the heat in Bowie County yesterday continued in Zekwa local government area. And so, as a matter of fact, yesterday, Wednesday, the 7th of December, 2022, will go down to La Republic's history as the blackest Wednesday for them in Bowie. The Bowie Unity Warriors of Wakang Barracks and team led by Major General Capo brought down 2 BS military cars in the evening about 9 p.m. in Kima, a locality in Zekwa local government area, Bowie County. At the time, these 2 destroyed cars were still positioned there with a high probability of causing several casualties. This was done through the use of 2 launchers. So we should calculate what the casualties will be. The Major General assured that his team and himself are safe and celebrating.
Well, you can call it a bloody and blackest Wednesday for La Republic as they have been hit twice earlier today. Now, first, as they entered Winama this morning, losing not only their men, but also 5 heavily loaded magazines. Then, still 20 kilometers away, they were hit again at Melim in Kumbo, where we saw a pool of blood the military found themselves in. Later that evening, around 6 p.m., the Ambazonia Restoration Forces took over at Tobin with one of the fiercest gunshots, and now the turn of ADS in Kima Soap.
Well, are we still doubting that if all the resources are forwarded to them, La Republic to Cameroon will be defeated? We shouldn't anymore. If Bowie eliminates all of them sent to Bowie, as it seems that all special forces were meant for Bowie, then La Republic du Cameroon will have no more forces to send to other counties.
Now, this is time to rise up as one and provide for the warriors in Bowie to make the job easier for all. Now, we must say congrats to the Unity Warriors and all the warriors in actions today. BIA and the CPDM elites should keep sending them to the land of no return. All right, before we move on to other stories for today, we did mention to you that we have the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia here, Mr. Eric Ati. Had him severally on the show and advice that you go relax and enjoy yourself because it's going to teach you a lot today. All right, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Ambazonians, the mic would hand over to Mr. Eric Ati this evening. Good evening, Mr. Vice President.
Good evening, Uncle ladies. How are you guys doing today? How
Mr. Vice President, before we go into the major discussion, your thought on this Bowie warrior for a long while now has been given positive response and positive remarks from the home front. What would you have to say, especially as it regards to this particular report that we just gave?
Yes, every Ambazonian should be proud of the work that has been done by our men and women bleeding down there to protect our people. My fellow Ambazonians, I'm very happy to be with you here today. Uncle ladies, I'm really proud of you, the work you do. I just want to reiterate here that when a people are so battered by terrorist troops from the Republic of Cameroon, to them it is a motivation to keep fighting and make sure that La Republic doesn't win this war. The people of Bowie County really, really came out yesterday to send a message to the Republic of Cameroon that their time is over in Ambazonia. And I just want to make a point here. This interim government is determined to see Ambazonia free. And that is why this Saturday, December 10th, we are going in for the federal draft. My fellow Ambazonians, I just want to say something. We have been drafting for 3 years, and I've really, really put things in perspective down there for the Republic of Cameroon. We've made them understand that they can never defeat us because the yearning for freedom is embedded in our DNA. It is something that we yearn every day. We go to sleep thinking about it. We wake up in the morning thinking about it. It is something that will never, ever go away. My advice to the Republic of Cameroon will be to stop wasting your time and killing our people. Come to the negotiation table. Let's negotiate our separation. The thing is, the Bowie warriors have really, really carried a huge chunk of the brunt of this revolution. And I'm appealing to every Ambazonian to make sure you come out on Saturday, the 10th of December, to support this federal government and give it the tools it needs, the resources it needs, so we can really, really help our men and women who are barely surviving, but who are so brave and determined to defend our homeland. This is a personal appeal to everyone. Thank you.
Mr. Vice President, well, speaking of the federal capital draft coming up on Saturday the 10th, a lot of Ambazonians are like, this is the first of the kind, and it is obvious that that is the first coming up. A lot of Ambazonians are wondering, what is the federal capital draft about? And we're also wondering, what is its objective and what is the strategy behind it?
When we started the draft in 2020, we had decided to decentralize our government. So now we have the LGS and counties. So we kind of like send everything down to the grassroots so the LGS can constitute themselves and then draft their people and provide support for the men and women who are bleeding and fighting in their distinctive LGS. It was some form of decentralization that really empowered the local governments to galvanize support for our boys on the ground, especially those fighting within their LGA. How does the federal government come in? There are areas that can raise money, but don't really have enough people on the ground fighting. So, and there are other areas that don't raise enough money, but who carry the brunt of the struggle, who have enough boys who are actually fighting. So when the federal government is empowered financially, the federal government will now be able to subsidize those areas who don't raise enough money, but who have the boys and the women who are actually willing to fight. That is just what the federal draft is about. It is about empowering our men and women who are bleeding down there to make sure that no one falls because they don't have the tools they need to defend their communities. And that is why this federal government draft is very important. It is a way of just putting things in perspective for our people, supporting them, making sure that we can sponsor programs that will save the lives of our people, because this war is about self-defense. Because we never ever declared war on La Republique du Cameroon. They declared war on us when their president came back from wherever he went and declared war at the airport. And since then, he has been killing our people. And so our people decided to rise up and defend themselves. So it is our collective responsibility to come together to empower this interim government to make sure that our people have the things they need. So I really encourage everyone to attend and participate and contribute to this draft. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Vice President, you have a question?
I was going to say, let's move to the
Indictment.
Yes, the indictments, the political intrigue cases. A lot of on Tuesday we had Dr. Mungwa here in the studio, and we tried to get his points. And he's as the spokesperson for the interim government, we tried to get his idea and his opinion on a lot of things. But I think he wanted to focus more on the legal aspects, which is very formal. I can understand that. But as the vice president, there is a whole lot that is expected of you. A lot is on your shoulder as it stands. Now, when we look at the political intrigue cases, what this could mean from the political arena, there are count charges here that there are charges here that they've been alleged with. We have conspiracy to provide material support and resources. That could be mania if you want to look at it that way. But then we have provide resources for weapons of mass destruction. That's quite heavy. Now, from the political angle, Mr. Vice President, what can this conspiracy tell you? We also have receiving money for ransom, participating in money laundering. What can this tell you from the political angle? What can you say is happening?
From the political angle, it is of no consequence. The reason being is that our comrades are being accused of providing support to our people down there. However, the United States government has never come out and told us that we can't. Most of us who live in the diaspora do contribute money to help our suffering people. But the one thing that I want to make clear here is that it is not just about self-defense. It is also about supporting the IDPs. It's also about supporting refugees. So the United States government knows that. So politically, I think it is something that we shouldn't worry too much about. But when it comes to the case proper, the law, if you look at the indictment, you will see it's quite porous, I would say, because you cannot accuse someone of supporting a terrorist organization if the Congress of the United States or the United States government has not declared that organization a terrorist organization. The Republic of Cameroon has been calling us terrorists for a very, very long time. Every time we do something to defend our people, they label it as terrorism. But this country where we live, the United States, and most Western countries, most countries in the world, I haven't heard any other country in the world label us as terrorists. Okay. If you look at the law that is cited in this indictment, it clearly states that no one can be convicted to have supported a terrorist organization if that organization has not been declared by the Congress of the United States as a terrorist organization. Even if the Congress of the United States were to pass that law today, that the ARFs are a terrorist organization and not a freedom fighting force, that law will still not apply to what has been done before that law was enacted and passed and signed by the President of the United States. So that case is going nowhere. But I'm happy that the indictments came. Yes, I feel bad for our comrades because it kind of disrupted their life a little bit. But this is going to put things in perspective for our revolution in the sense that we have been to the corridors of powers around the world. We have protested. We've been to the United Nations. We've been to the State Department. Everyone knows about our struggle, but no one has ever moved a finger to come to our aid. Let the case go through the judicial system. I think a judgment from the judicial system debunking what they are trying to do to our three comrades will actually legitimize our struggle in the sense that This is not the first time Ambazonia is on trial, because this is not just about the three comrades. This is about all of us as a collective. This is about all of us as a collective. And so, you know, when it goes to the judicial system and a ruling is passed, it will be heard by the international community. It will be heard by Americans. We have won a case in Banjul. We have won a case in Abuja, but no one cares. So we are equal to the task. Let's wait and see what happens. When I looked at the charge of kidnapping, I know they cited Cardinal Tumi and the Forum. So it is really funny that they would do that, because the question would be, who owns the land? Who makes the law of the land? Let La République du Cameroon, or let the courts of America, provide any document that gives legitimate ownership of Ambazonia to La République. There is no union treaty. Our independence was voted on. 1608 legitimizes us as the true rulers of Ambazonia. If a county chair sits...
We the people, ABC Amba TV, Ambazonia Broadcasting Corporation. The voice of the voiceless, the voice of Ambazonia, connecting the world from Africa with untold stories, Africa's best. We the people, ABC Amba TV, Ambazonia Broadcasting Corporation. The voice of the voiceless, the voice of Ambazonia, connecting the world from Africa with untold stories, Africa's best. We the people, ABC Amba TV, Ambazonia Broadcasting Corporation. The voice of the voiceless, the voice of Ambazonia, connecting the world from Africa with untold stories, Africa's best. We the people, ABC Amba TV, Ambazonia Broadcasting Corporation. The voice of the voiceless, the voice of Ambazonia, connecting the world from Africa with untold stories, Africa's best. We the people, ABC Amba TV, Ambazonia Broadcasting Corporation. The voice of the voiceless, the voice of Ambazonia, connecting the world from Africa with untold stories, Africa's best. We the people, ABC Amba TV, Ambazonia Broadcasting Corporation. The voice of the voiceless, the voice of Ambazonia, connecting the world from Africa with untold stories, Africa's best. We the people, ABC Amba TV, Ambazonia Broadcasting Corporation. The voice of the voiceless, the voice of Ambazonia, connecting the world from Africa with untold stories, Africa's best.
All right. Sincerest apologies for that break there, but we still have the Vice President here in the studio, and we have something for you. Start, please.
A video, sure. There is a video of Cardinal Tumi talking about the defense Ambazonians have been carrying out for a while now, and would like you to see it now.
That was our problem. Do you call that rebellion?
No, I don't know. I won't define rebellion.
Of course, it is a good rebellion. Well, when I said a moment ago that a Christian is a rebel against evil.
But how do you reconcile that with the fact that the Bible requests that you pray for your leaders?
We pray for the rebels. We pray for yes.
That God should help change them?
We pray for these boys in the bushes. We pray for the army. Most of the killing is done by the army. It's not done by these boys.
Well, do you have empirical facts?
Oh, of course. Objective study, which is still going on. In Kumbo, 400 people have been killed in the diocese of Kumbo. The Bishop of Kumbo and his priests and some they have made a study. And the majority of those who have been killed have not been killed by these boys because they do not have the sophisticated arms that the army has. Maybe if they had, they would have killed more, but they don't have the possibility of killing more. Okay. The army comes in, a rebel boy has killed one military man, he away the entire family and they mow down everybody.
Is that true?
It is perfectly true.
What? Okay.
I'm ready to die for it.
No, you did indicate earlier on that as a pastor you will stand for the truth. Now, has the church something to offer, given that at the level where we want hands to come on deck for these things to end? Mr. Moderator.
That was our problem. Do you call that rebellion?
No, I don't know. I won't define rebellion.
Course, it is a good rebellion. I can rebel. When I said a moment ago that a Christian is a rebel against evil.
But how do you reconcile that with the fact that the Bible requests that you pray for your leaders?
We pray for the rebels. We pray for them.
Pray for the rebels?
Yes.
That God should help change them?
We pray for these boys in the bushes. We pray for the army. Most of the killing is done by the army. It's not done by these boys.
Well, do you have empirical facts?
Oh, of course. Objective study, which is still going on. In Kumbo, 400 people have been killed in the diocese of Kumbo. The Bishop of Kumbo and his priests and some they have made a study. And the majority of those who have been killed have not been killed by these boys because they do not have the sophisticated arms that the army has. Maybe if they had, they would have killed more, but the possibility of killing more. Okay. The army comes in, a rebel boy has killed maybe one military man. He runs away the entire family and they mow down everybody.
Is that true?
It is perfectly true.
What? Okay.
I'm ready to die for it.
No, you did indicate earlier on that as a pastor you will stand for the truth. Now, has the church something to offer, given that we are at a level where we want hands to come on deck for these things to end? Mr. Moderator.
All right, I believe the Vice President, Mr. Eric Ate, is still in the interview room, okay? So you just saw the video for yourself and you heard Cardinal Tumi standing for the truth and explaining what Ambazonians have been trying to reach out to the world, to tell the world that this is not like a volunteered violence against La Republique. It is an act of self-defense, and it's like nobody has been listening, like you said, nobody has come to the aid of Ambazonia. But now this indictment, there are political intricacies to it, like you said. What do you think this indictment might do to help Ambazonia's case be heard even more?
Well, the thing is, it would expose the lies of the enablers and the agents of the Republic of Cameroon. Okay, one of one of the things in the indictment is kidnapping of an archbishop, of a cardinal. I say this because I was in court. When one of the accused went for his bail hearing, and I distinctly remember the prosecutor, the government prosecutor, mentioning Cardinal Tumi, and the judge said, "You mean he's a cardinal?" He said, "Yes." And that is when the judge kind of made a statement. It's an off remark that he made, that if Mr. Frank Cheney is the chief executive of his county, who makes the laws there? So that's a very pertinent thing. It wasn't like part of the ruling, but it was just an inquisitive question coming from this man. Okay, there are videos out there like this one. There's another one where he was arrested and interrogated. He was asked if he was molested. He said no. Was any ransom collected? No. So why would they add that in the indictment? These enablers are so desperate to label us as something we are not. We are freedom fighters. And one thing they should understand is that we are all willing to die for it. This is not a joke. This is the freedom of an entire people. So before we got cut off, I was explaining that that no organization within Ambazonia fighting for Ambazonia has actually been formally labeled as a terrorist organization. We are not sponsoring any terrorist organization because the ARF is not a terrorist organization. They are freedom fighters. And one cannot sit in the United States and your people are being slaughtered in their droves and one does nothing. That would be inhumane. Just like the Israelites, when the Jewish state was born, all the Jews around the world supported Israel. Just like Ukraine, America is supporting Ukraine. So if America commits terrorism, here in Minnesota, I have seen ordinary Ukrainians contributing money to help Ukraine fight the Russian aggression. Are they terrorists? No. So that's why I say if you look at all the charges, it is quite laughable because it's not going to stick. But I'm also very happy that a judgment will come out. And if it favors Ambazonia, then it will be another victory for us. Because when Abuja ruled in our favor, it didn't make a dent. When Banjul ruled for us, it didn't make a dent. But at least let this case go through the judicial system of the United States. I know that our comrades, I always say, it's unfortunate that they are now being held. One of them have been released temporarily to go home and wait for his case, the one from Minnesota. So we're hoping that all three of them can be released so that their court date can be set, so they can go and face the justice system of the United States. I believe in the United States justice system. We don't have kangaroo courts here. We are going to make our arguments. But the basic thing that we are always going to put forth is that who owns the land? Who makes the rules? And if La Republique says they own the land, then the United States judicial establishment should tell us when La Republique owned Ambazonia. Who gave Ambazonia to La Republique du Cameroon? That is the question. That is what is on trial here. Any county chair has a right to make rules and regulations within its own county. If you are an enabler and you are enabling the Republic of Cameroon terrorist troops to come into your LG or your county to molest your people, rape your women and your girls, it is your responsibility to arrest them, to stop the molestation and the abuse meted on your people. So who makes the law in Ambazonia? Is it La Republique du Cameroon? And if it is, let the international community, let the United States judicial establishment tell us when La Republique du Cameroon attained ownership of our land. Because there's no document that gives them ownership of Ambazonia. The southern Cameroons belong to its people. And that is what is on trial here. So I'm very optimistic that the end result is going to be great for us. Thank you.
Definitely, the end result will be great. Now, still in that video, we had some part where Cardinal Tumi made it clear that the killings are not the killings that probably the world might be talking about, are definitely not done by Ambazonia Restoration Forces, but by the. He made that clear video. Now, Mr. Vice President, moving on, what do you think Ambazonians should be looking up to or looking onto? I mean, coming from the whole of this case, the litigation and its entirety, what do you think that Ambazonians should expect in the days ahead?
We have launched a small fundraiser, and people are contributing heavily for the defense of our comrades. No, you see, there's a basic principle in defense. In time of war, you never leave a soldier behind. That's why I say it is an entire Ambazonia on trial. It's not the three accused. We are all on trial. Our lives depend on this. Our entire country is on trial. So that is why people are contributing heavily to make sure that when the time comes for them to actually, for their case to be adjudicated, we will have the resources we need to do our research and stuff like that. And as a matter of fact, we have tens of thousands of documents to present. Cardinal Tumi just said it. This is a man who was accused of being kidnapped. No ransom was taken. He was arrested because he had a contrary position to what we espouse, in the sense that if you are a federalist, you are a Cameroonian. So when you are going through the territory and you are stopped and questioned, that is not kidnapping. That is somebody in his own territory, in his own county, exactly, you exercising the law of the land. And the question still goes back. I am not a lawyer, but as a matter of fact, I can read and I know exactly what I'm talking about. Who owns the land? The only illegal entity in Ambazonia is the Republic of Cameroon. The only illegal entity in Ambazonia carrying weapons are the terrorist troops of the Republic of Cameroon. The people we call Amba boys, or we call restoration forces, they are doing what they are supposed to do, defending themselves against a brutal occupation coming from a government who has no respect for human dignity. So let's go to court and see what happens. And that is why I'm saying, Ambazonians, contribute for the case. Also, empower your federal government to provide support for the people on home front who are defending themselves against the onslaught coming from this dictatorial regime of the Republic of Cameroon. We're gonna keep fighting until the international community wakes up and comes to our aid. We will keep fighting. I am speaking right here. I'm waiting for my own indictment. Let them come and indict me. Let them do it. I am ready for it. We are all ready to die. Our lives are not more important than the thousands, almost 50,000 people who have died. Grandmothers burned. The cardinal himself said it all. And when this video will be presented, the judge himself will see exactly how someone purportedly being called a victim of kidnapping is actually indicting the government of the Republic of Cameroon. So that is how important this case is for us, because it is an indictment to all of us. We may be walking free out here because we haven't been indicted. But I want every Ambazonian to take it the way I'm saying it. We have all been indicted. And we cannot shy away from what we do because we are doing the right thing. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Vice President. Just hold on still. We have a few reports that you would definitely be interested in. Just hold on for us, please.
We the people, ABC Amba TV, Ambazonia Broadcasting Corporation. The voice of the voiceless, the voice of Onia, connecting the world from Africa with untold stories, Africa's best.
While the Ambazonian Restoration Forces are focused, like its commander-in-chief and leader, President Sami Sako, only focusing on the enemy, the genocidal and occupational La République du Cameroon forces, we have some others derailing and tarnishing the image of what a real Amba fighter should really be. Well, it is no news that each and every one needs to put hands on deck for the common fight against La République du Cameroon's invasion into the affairs and territory of southern Cameroon's Ambazonia. Those with guns need financial support from businesses to push on, as well as prayers from men and women of God. Regardless of the position you take, everyone has to voluntarily support and not forcefully.
Well, taking up action an issue of choice just as much as any other support. It's almost boiled down to choice and free will. A group of armed Mogamo manifested their anger by four bosses as they learned the manager was not on set. They have an appointment with the manager is the first question we are asking. Is damaging four bosses to their problems? Is the second question.
Four buses of Mogamo Express were destroyed with bullets on the evening hours of Tuesday, December 6, 2022. Armed gang who identify themselves as Amber fighters rained bullets on the four buses to express their frustration and anger.
The so-called Amber fighters became furious when they were informed that the manager is not on seat at the time when they arrived. They resorted to shooting four buses, damaging the tires and shattering the windshields. Luckily, with the heavy shooting that lasted for a while, the only material damage was recorded with no casualties. Also, we have this other story. It says that many are called, but a few are chosen. To be among the chosen is not just a privilege, but can be leader when it comes to defending the territorial integrity of a people. Many Southern Cameroons have put their lives on the line to fight for the liberation of Southern Cameroons. Many have lost their lives already. Many are still lying determined to fight till Southern Cameroon is free. Now, a lot of armed groups have been formed for this purpose. Though activities are doubtful, all claim to be fighting for the same cause. We have difference. Now, Commander Nto of Bafut 7 Qatar is no more. He was shot by gunmen at the Ntanka neighborhood, accused of being a kidnapper. Was he a real kidnapper, or was he a fake kidnapper, or an accused kidnapper?
A supposed Amber fighter in the action name of Commander Nto of Qatar has been killed by unknown gunmen. The killing took place on Wednesday, November 30th, 2022, at the Ntanka neighborhood of Bamenda. Now, reports hold that engaged at the Ntanka neighborhood, Commander Nto was shot by the leg by the unknown gunman. He managed to escape into a complete building and was later murdered by the men who shot his leg.
Other information says that Commander Cho was an expert in kidnapping and stealing of cars equally, that he stole cows from the sisterhood in Bafut and even attempted to rape a reverend sister. But the question is, are these allegations true or false? Was he an imposter or a real defender? Now, the infiltration in the Amazonian Restoration Forces makes it hard to just dismiss these hours. But then these questions are for Amazonian Restoration Forces to answer. All right, we still have the vice president here in the studio. Mr. Eric Ate, he's still here. I want to find out. Now the war is progressing. We are having some hindrances. Well, not just hindrances, specific challenges. But we want to know, Mr. Eric Ate, did this undermine the war that we have made up our mind to follow till the end?
What was the question again?
All right, I'm saying that we are here at the battlefield with so many challenges, as it were. Now, with all of these stories coming in and so many groups all mingling to be fighting for the restoration of Ambazonia, so many, should we call them militant groups or should we call them military groups, all claiming to be fighting for Ambazonia? Do you think that with all of these negative reports going around, it may undermine the efforts that are put in place by the Ambazonia Restoration Forces? Because at the end of the day, they all bear Ambazonia to it.
In a state of insecurity, there are always things like this that are bound to happen, in the sense that there are people who are war profiteering. Even members of the Cameroon military are also war profiteering. I've heard all kinds of reports, back when this thing started. I saw I think it was a newspaper or a video where someone was saying they discovered a military person who is a military during the day, a thief at night. So they are all making money off of Ambazonia. But that doesn't negate the fact that some of our own people are not doing good work back on home front. But I, as the president, the vice president of Ambazonia, and President Sako as the president of Ambazonia, we are focused more on our structure. And we have always prevailed on every genuine fighter in Ambazonia to come under their structure. You follow your chain of command, because it is always a good thing. Because through the chain of command, we can always educate you on the rules of engagement and international conventions. Even in a normal society, in any country, even in the United States, you have armed robbers. Even in any country, you have people who are prone to criminality. So that is even 10 times more in a state of insecurity as we find ourselves in Ambazonia. There are people who carry weapons on home front, who call themselves Amba boys, but we use it to prey on innocent civilians. So the ARFs has as responsibility to rein them in and bring them for questioning. But I would say that even the kidnappings, the majority of the kidnappings happening in Ambazonia are carried out by the Cameroon military, because they carry the most sophisticated weapons. Our boys don't have, they have a mobility problem. They sit in their areas to defend their communities. The Cameroon army have, the ability to transport military personnel from one end to the other. So most of the kidnappings and the killings is done by them, as authenticated by, as mentioned by Cardinal Tumi. So I don't want any Ambazonian to feel low about this. It's an unfortunate situation that people will use this struggle, to benefit themselves. I can understand why. There is lawlessness because our country is under occupation. But I also caution the Ambazonian Restoration Forces to do more to protect our civilians from kidnapping and from random harassment from those who pretend to be them or to be the restoration forces. You know a restoration force when you see one. A restoration force is someone who honors and respects his chain of command. A restoration force is someone who respects international convention, because we remind them every day of the necessity of doing so. Because even in a situation of war, there are things that you don't do. Cameroon as a country has violated every human right, every international convention possible. But I would say they are not our teachers. We cannot learn from their bad habits. We should keep doing what is right. We should keep doing what is legal. Defend our people honorably. And please rain down on those imposters who disguise as restoration fighters to go out there and steal from our people and harass them. So that will be my advice. And we are going to keep educating our fighters to make sure they bring some kind of sanity into a situation where, everything is just going to blizzes. It is their responsibility to make sure that these boys who are doing these things, I know we've seen videos come out where they have actually arrested some, interrogated them, and maybe locked them up or something like that. but they need to do more. But that is where we in the diaspora come in. They need the resources to actually be able to put this thing, bring this thing to order. So that's why I keep encouraging every Ambazonian to remember that if we don't empower the federal government to maybe create something down there that will be a mobile force just to enforce some of these laws, that way our population is not randomly harassed by these imposters who claim to be Amba boys. So that is all I can say about that. It's a very it's a frustrating situation, but you know what? As a government, other people can lose it, but you have to find it. So it is our responsibility to find solutions to these problems, and we're gonna keep doing our best to do so. That's all I can say. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Vice President. I was going to ask something in that same line, but before I even move on with the question, it came to our knowledge, we reported in the course of the news, not today though, some time back, how 2 imposters were using the tags of being Amba fighters to extort from business owners, like outrightly extort from them. Eventually, the Union Restoration Forces caught up with them, and they actually gave them a signal, a sign, so when people see them, they know these are not the real ones. They actually took a finger of each of them. They didn't kill them or do anything more than that. But then these keep happening. Now, we are aware of some purported sister forces or frontline movement targeting the structures you just talked about, with the aim to dismantle these structures. Now, what can the interim government, you said, provide resources to help enable the Ambazonian Restoration Forces do better, but then what else can the interim government do to handle this unfortunate energy? Because a lot of Ambazonian restoration fighters are not even aware that they're there are people who go to give intel, come in to give intel. There are people who just basically want to destroy the structure and hierarchy and the mode of operation. What can the interim do to curtail this destabilization in the Ambazonian Restoration Forces?
I think one of the things we can do is make them stand out. When I say stand out, I mean they have to have the superior gear. And one other thing we can also do is, because let me just give you an example. Do you know an audio came out the other day where one of the ARF generals was actually pleading and warning, sending out a warning that someone has been calling around the diaspora demanding money, while using his name. So somebody will call and say, "Hey, I am General this of the ARF, General Sagon or General Talk and Do," asking for money from individuals in the diaspora. But what he said was, if somebody calls you and asks for money, tell the person to go to the camp where he lives and to request the money from them. All our generals, when they need money to help our people, our internally displaced or to treat people who are wounded, they know where to get their money from. We don't shy away from actually helping them when they get wounded and to give them the tools that they need. So the one way we can maybe empower them to do what I think will benefit the entire society is to empower them with superior materials, superior weapons, so they can actually overpower all the imposters who are just there to destroy the revolution. And all these things that you see on home front is encouraged by some in the diaspora who just want to seek relevance. After disrupting most of the things on home front that we are trying to rebuild now, they don't have any more actions to steal, because we have made it clear to all our fighters that if you carry out a defense operation in Ambazonia and you're under this interim government, you have to state it. You have to say the interim government led by His Excellency Dr. Samuel Ikome Sako. The reason why you don't hear the coup plotters claiming anything on home front is because they don't have anything to steal. They don't have any action to steal. Because if somebody like Sagon carries out an action on home front, he gives credit to this interim government because we are the ones helping them when they get wounded. If you hear somebody like Talk and Do carry out action, they cannot claim it. So that is why they are so frustrated. You see them shouting on social media like mad cows, because they cannot claim those actions, because their intention was that they will create something that looks like a government or a group or whatever you call it, and then whatever action our men and women, the men that we support, carry on home front, they will come and claim it and say they carried out the action. But it's not working for them, because everything we do is synchronized. Everything we do is known, is open. All the people who are fighting for us, we know them. So what I'm saying is that if you want a superior force on home front that can actually rein in some of these things that are going down there, then we have to give our people the capability they need to actually bring things to order. And that is where we come in. We have to do more than we ever did. No Ambazonian should be discouraged with what is going on. It should be an impetus for everyone to do a little bit more, so we can empower this federal government, empower our boys on the ground, help our people stay alive, and things like that. So that's pretty much it.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vice President. Thank you so much. This is to you, viewers and listeners. We'll be linking the TV in Brazil where the president will be having his interview, so you can have access, be a part of that interview. Thank you so much, Mr. Vice President, Mr. Eric Ate. It was been an awesome moment with you here, but we still do have things that we might want to clarify.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Vice President, thank you so much for being part of the show today. Now, when you talk about structures, and when we talk about the structures that are being dismantled at the home front, you see, these are the things that we get correctly as moving forward and forward. Mr. Vice President, what do you think we can do differently other than what we are doing at the moment? Because you were trying to remember the name of the general that made that notice. That's General Fire, where he instructed that people should go different camp. Now, that is just one. What other thing can the fighters do? Because they are our only hope at the home front where this issue is being from the foundation.
Okay, we are making overtures towards some of the fighters, the lone fighters, or the loose fighters out there. We are making overtures towards them. I personally, encourage that we should reach out to them and talk to them. Sometimes they reach out to us to ask for help, but what we tell them is that we don't sponsor militias. That is my response to everybody who wants, the help of the interim government. We don't sponsor militias. And why do I say that? If you want to be a fighting force of Ambazonia under the interim government, then you should work with the interim government. Those who had been deceived, who were part of us, who were deceived to leave us, there is a way we can bring them back. We don't necessarily need to just integrate them into the ARFs. The reason being is that if they had actually talked about killing some of our ARFs, and now they are repentant about it, and they want to come back, will it be smart for us to take them and mix them up with our genuine ARFs? No. However, if you, let's say Unity Warriors, if you want to come back under the structures of the interim government, that's fine. We can keep you at bay, do your defense work, protect your community, and we can maybe help you if we can. You will still be working for Ambazonia, but it will create a situation where your primary objective is not to destroy what we have built. This goes to for this thing called Ground Zero Command. It was something that was cooked up to disrupt this interim government. Some people in the diaspora and La République du Cameroon are so fearful of President Sako that they concocted this thing to destroy our structure on home front. Because if they can't beat him in the diaspora by creating all these fake governments, then the one thing they thought they could do is go on home front and disrupt everything that he has built. But the thing is that it's never going to work, because the majority of the people on home front know that the entity in this revolution who has the financial stamina to actually exact things on home front is this interim government led by President Sako. So all these other noisemakers, all they can do is lie to the Ambazonian people that some actions that are being taken on home front, they are the ones who carried it out. They can't raise the money because you know what? When they were with this interim government, they were the least contributors. They never contributed anything. Okay, I want to also say something here that you didn't ask. One of them has been going around talking about a march in Washington. One, it is quite laughable because in the United States, even the president of the United States cannot order a case stopped. This is not a kangaroo republic. Two, they also have their own case coming in January. He's talking about raising money for our three brothers who have been indicted. Who is he really raising money for? Is he raising money for his own case that is coming in? The case in which they took money from the Ambazonian Foundation, both in Europe and the United States, that is to be adjudicated in January? Or is he really trying to collect money for our three indicted brothers? What takes precedence? He himself has been indicted in court, and now he wants to collect money for our three comrades? No, please. Ambazonian people, don't get fooled. Don't give any money to Chris Anu. Don't give any money to them. This interim government is doing everything to make sure that our comrades have the counsel they need during their trial. I'm going to be as blunt as possible. And one thing that I want to say here before I go, I know my time is up, is that I saw a video of somebody posted a video of ABS, and I saw how Chris Anu sat there with some other two comrades, actually talking about, meeting President Sako somewhere and beating him up. I want to make it very clear to Chris Anu that if something were to happen to President Sako, you will be held accountable. You cannot go on your stupid television, excuse my language, and propagate hate against our president. No matter what you have done, Chris Anu, I, as a vice president, I have never addressed you in a negative way. I still look at you like someone who has actually lost it, but someone who served Ambazonia at one point. Going that low, threatening the life of our president on your show is really despicable. It's despicable. If you call yourself a leader of your so-called group, it is time you start talking about fighting for Ambazonia instead of talking about the president. If you say Sako was purportedly impeached or whatever, leave him alone. Do your own thing. Stop lying. Stop causing problems. Stop talking about the president all the time. Stay your own lane. Our men and women on home front need our collective support. If you have any support to give, send it to them. Leave this interim government alone. You are not the president of Ambazonia. You are just an impostor. There is nothing called the Restoration Council. We have the interim House of Representatives. That impeachment was a fallacy. It violated the Constitution, and you know it. Stop calling yourself president of Ambazonia. You are destroying this struggle, Mr. Chris Anu. You better stop. I've made up my mind never, ever to address this in public. But the time will soon come when I will put my office as vice president on the side and go after these kind of things. Because this is what destroys our revolution. We have fought for 5 years. We have lost 50,000 people. It is not a joke. This is not a game for you. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it now. Thank you, Amazonians, for listening.
President, we're going to help you out there. Yes, we did actually replay that video on Tuesday in our news here for Ambazonians in the diaspora to actually get a clip of that. And now that you've mentioned it, we would want to replay it again, just so that it helps people understand what you are saying and you are so vexed at it. So with your but we are waiting for the president to get connected, and so we can bring up that in the Brazilian TV. Let's get that particular video again. Then we'll get back to you, Mr. Vice President.
Let me give an answer. Let us live within our realities in the diaspora. Okay, and also our people on the ground are living within I want us to be factual. Listen, we have defined and and we say part A, part B, diaspora is a black and it is the person has made all those points of a black. We can rally and we go more beating, get that person well beaten. Listen, none of us in the diaspora has been beaten. That's a simple truth. You know, just take for example, people in USA in a home like this, let's say Sako calls now for a gathering meeting. Sako calls now for a gathering, and there's a public open fighting. It's an open fight. They won't want anyone. They won't know who has hit Sako on his head, punch him on his face. Hit Sako on his head, punch him on his face. Open beating. You know, so we need to act. Number two, there are Nakambokos in the diaspora. Nakambokos, they need just €5 to get someone scatter someone. Not through telling it must not be you. So there are many things we can do to handle them in the diaspora. There are people genuine like Padia Sanga and the rest who are impersonating saying nonsense. While we are doing that, we must also be mindful of the laws within. So there is a way we can circumvent those laws. I can't say much.
Well, he said that's not too much, right? But we still have the vice president here in the studio. Might want to react to that, as continue to react to that. But then let me ask, just in case that in. Now we are going to on Saturday again. Do you think that such videos and probably the indictment and the court cases might hinder Ambazonians from drafting? I think that it might hinder the progress that is supposed to be recorded on Saturday. This and more, you should react.
Is your question? Are you asking the question if videos like this are going to deter some Ambazonians from contributing?
Well,
was that your question?
Well, I'm just asking
if
statements. When it comes to physical abuse, people might want to get scared. Just asking.
No, let me say this. Let me say this. Every Ambazonian, let me say this. Uncle Lady Onye, if you are fighting for a good cause, someone who doesn't do anything, someone who just talks on social media, someone who has no bearing in Ambazonia, contributes no money, threatens you, you have the right to defend yourself, right? Let me tell you something.
Good.
I'm a freedom fighter. This office that I sit in doesn't stop me from defending myself. Mark Barretta, Chris Sando, all of them. I invite them to come to America and let's go to a park and let's box and see who is going to beat the other. These people are just noisemakers. I don't threaten people. I have never, ever started a fight in my life, but I have never lost one either. I am not President Sako. I'm inviting Mark Barretta to leave, buy his ticket, come to America, and let's go to a park and box and see who's going to come from there with broken jaws. This is not a joke. Stop. They should stop threatening people. That is wrong. On national TV, anyone who thinks that an Ambazonian is just going to sit around and let you beat them, President Sako doesn't go anywhere without people surrounding him. If I'm ever with the president and someone tries to attack him, it will be my duty to defend President Sako. And if you try to attack me, I can assure you, I will break your jaw. Period. In self-defense. If I can fight the Republic of Cameroon, it won't be Mark Barretta or Chris Sano that will more than me to break. None of them sitting there can fight me physically. None. None of them can. Because they're all mad people. Powerless people. Please, I don't want to use a bad word here. They should stop. They should stop threatening the president. They should just stop. Thank you.
Concerned is the fact that they were categorically on the public TV planning to beat up the president in public. I had one question when I saw that, in as much as it breaks every moral standard, every political, every genuine standard. I mean, I had one question. I know you at least Cristiano has been with this interim government one time. What did he ever do to fight off La Republic du Cameroon's battalions, military battalions? Then did he proffer any solution, any ideas to keep La Republic du Cameroon terrorists off of Amberland? Did he get any fight, tactics like now with the president?
You see, I have been on Amba TV with you ladies for a few times, and you've known exactly how I operate. I don't like attacking people. I always say I have respect for Cristiano for his sacrifice to this thing. But let me just be truthful. He was the Secretary of Communication in this administration, and he ran ABC like his private property. The reason why he was so disgruntled and left is because a board of directors was created, and all the decisions, the financial decisions, were supposed to be made by the board of directors. If you are so afraid of accountability, why would you want to lead the people? You talk about Sako all the time. Sako is the president is putting all these pockets of accountability around all our institutions. Why did you have to run away? He concocted a story about Ma Irene, and that was the reason why he was against this government. No, he started agitating when the bills that he claimed was supposed to be paid for ABC had to be approved by the new board of directors put by Sako. If I were the Secretary of Communication and I took charge of all the bills, I just tell people how much. Oh, the satellite business, they just give the money every day. Amba TV, they will shut it down soon, and we contribute money and give. If somebody came to me and told me that I want to create a board of directors that will approve every financial transaction, if I were doing the right things and I wasn't taking money, benefiting from that foundation, I wouldn't have a problem. But if somebody is feeding fat from a foundation, and then you come and tell that person that you are creating a board of directors to provide oversight over his activities, and he gets offended, that is already an indication that he ran the foundation as his private piggy bank. That is just the truth. So all these things that they concocted about, oh, we are impeaching President Sako, it was a lie. Because when someone steals money from the interim government, what they do, how do they run away with that? Then when you want to say, hey, give us back the people's money. No, I'm not with your government anymore. You cannot say anything to me. I'm now with somebody else. It's happened time and time again. It happens during the time of Sisiko. When my trip to Boya, when Tabayan went away with money, when we wanted to ask for our money back, oh, no, I'm not part of your government anymore. I used to be the Secretary of Finance for your government, but now I'm with Sisiko, Taba's government. So I'm not accountable to you anymore. The one thing that has stopped this time is that they will not be able to run away from the Ambassador Foundation money that they stole. They can rant all they want, but let them have their day in court. You do not go into somebody's foundation. You have been removed as a board of director. You had no business going in there and taking $70,000. You had no business going there and taking out $40,000 or whatever. You have no business going to the account in Europe and removing money, transferring part of that money into Nanchop's account and the other part of the money into Marianta's account. So if you look at it, it's a conglomerate of thieves, a confederation of embezzlers and thieves who pride themselves on insulting President Sako. If President Sako was such a thief, how did he have the stamina and the intelligence to build this structure from which you came in and stole money? So not only Cristiano took the console, Marianta is holding part of the money, Nanchop is holding part of the money, Cristiano, Frida Ashu or something is holding part, went and took $70,000. I think it was Blessed Chair, went and took out $40,000. Then you are insulting the president? Does Mark Barretta know what he's talking about? We are the victims here. He's the one going to a propaganda station that is meant just to insult the president. What is he doing on home front? How much has he ever sent to our fighters home down there? So that's why I say, ladies, the two of you sit right here. People hear you from all over the world, including home front. What do you think they say about you? You are true freedom fighters. You are better than Cristiano 150 times because you are here educating the world, educating the people. What is Cristiano doing on his television? Is he educating the world? Somebody who calls himself president. Today he's president, tomorrow he's comrade. Talking about Sako. It's really childish. Let him grow up. Oh, we all live in America. Everybody can get a job. All of us can go get a job. Let him go get a job. All the people who stole money, if you still have the money, bring it back. The other day we were in a Zoom meeting. They sent somebody in there. I would say they said, maybe they did, maybe they don't, but somebody came in there and said, Mr. President, we still have, the people who took money from you guys still have the money. Can you authorize them to send the money to home front so our people don't die? And the president responded to them very beautifully. You know what the president said? The president, now we are having a conversation here. I know that it's always a thing, people always get scripted when they come on television. But I want to talk straight here. How can you steal somebody, if you come to somebody's house and you steal their money? After you steal the money, you come to that person and you say, hey, authorize me to use the money that I stole to feed your children. And the president said, well, thank you for coming and letting me know that the money that you guys took is still there. Just bring the money back to the rightful owner and the case will go. One of them even contacted me through somebody else, trying to cut a deal so that we can drop the case. I'm like, are you kidding me? One, I'm not part of the Ambazonia Foundation. I'm the vice president of Ambazonia, but I am not the member of the board of the Ambazonia Foundation, nor am I the leader of the Ambazonia. It's a different entity. Those are the people suing you. So why do they keep trying? Why are they keep trying to get the case squashed? And why are they asking for the president, if I thought they were the ones who sent the guy, to authorize them to spend the money that they stole on home front? Just bring it back where it was and the case will be dropped. If you go to court and you apologize that, hey, I made a mistake, but the money is still here, pay back the money. Stop trying to cut deals. We don't cut deals with embezzlers and thieves. Now I've said it. Let them go start talking.
Yeah.
I'll be ready for them.
All right. All right. Of course, they respect you. I'm sure they know that they can't match you in any way. But Mr. Vice President, let's take a walk to Saturday. We've been drafting before. In fact, it was a long period of draft we had, and now we are resuming draft again. What are your expectations for Saturday when it comes to the turn up, when it comes to amount, when it comes to commitment from Ambazonians in diaspora, who we know are the ones who are contributing to their freedom? What are your expectations?
My expectation is that I think we have sensitized our people enough. They now know that this thing is an existential threat. They know that our revolution is under attack with indictments and stuff like that. So, and they know the importance of the federal government draft. Why do I say that? When we decentralized and people drafted into the LGS and counties, our finances were so fragmented. So if there's any Ambazonian out there who has ever made a statement like, oh, we drafted, but we are not seeing enough action, it is not because there's no action. It's because there is no coordinated action to defend our people. The LGS do not come together and say, hey, 40 of us raised this amount of money, let's come together and carry out a joint project. They can't. They don't have the capability to do that. However, the federal government has the capability of doing that. That is why the federal draft is very important, because if one of our heroes on home front calls off and say, we are under attack, let me say he's fighting in a particular county, and La Republique is there burning houses, raping women, killing children, just mowing the population as let me quote the cardinal, and the general said, look, we're under attack, we need support, and the county itself don't have enough money. Who do they turn to? They turn to the president. They call me, and they call the president. They call the federal government. So if the federal government, if the county doesn't have enough money to support that fighter, and at the same time, the federal government too doesn't have enough money to support that fighter, where does the fighter go? The fighter will die. That is why it is important for Ambazonians to understand this. The federal drive is very important, because most of the things that have happened on home front, either with our IDPs, Nigeria feeding our refugees, has been done by the federal government. The federal government organizes all these things. So it is important for people to leave their sentiments behind, come out and draft. If you don't want your name known or your face known, just contribute anonymously. And then you will see what the federal government will do. We have work to do, and we need the money to do it. So I'm pleading with every Ambazonian. It doesn't matter what your affiliation is. It doesn't matter who you support here. It doesn't matter what you do. Even if you are not actively fighting with us, please come in and drive your little money. Or we will always appreciate, no matter how small or big it is, just bring it so we can empower this federal government and do the things that we are supposed to do on home front. So now, these people, all these people in the diaspora have done a lot to disrupt things down there, but things are beginning to come back to normal. You see how brave our boys are. You see how motivated they are. But we want to motivate them more. So please come out and support the federal draft on Saturday. I'll be there. The president will be there. So I'm really looking forward to that. So I think I'm very optimistic that it's going to be a great day. That was your question. I'm very optimistic because I believe in Ambazonians. I believe that if our people didn't love this struggle, they wouldn't have been sitting here fighting for 5 years. So thank you.
That is factual. That is indeed factual. Thank you so much, Vice President. Well, Ayaba Cho is claiming to create an anti-kidnap gang on the ground. This is an information that we've gotten. What do you think about this, Vice President?
It's laughable, because I distinctly remember that at some point I saw videos out there, people from home front and the diaspora saying that Ayaba Cho's group, the ADF, was working with La Republic or engaged in kidnapping. So it's like, how would I put it? A doctor who operates on himself is a fool. Has a fool for a doctor. So if someone who has been accused so many times of leading the kidnapping rings in home front now says he wants to create an anti-kidnapping force, Ambazonian peoples can read into that and just know that is a no-go area for him. I don't think he should. I don't think he has the credibility to actually tell Ambazonians that he can do that. Ambazonians should never buy that, because the ADF has always been a pain in our neck. They have killed most of I would not see them killing the people who are coming to kill our people, but we can state instances where they have actually enjoyed killing their own. Look at what they did in Busan, went in there, buried fighters alive. Look at what they did to General Chacha. They killed General Chacha for nothing. Look at what it's like. You can Florence Ayafo, all kinds of things. They have committed so many unsavory things down there. So I don't think they have the credibility to create a fighting force, because if they already have a force down there, as they claim, why haven't they been fighting La Republic? Are we here? Our primary mission here is to defend our people, not to create, whatever they want to create, because I just don't buy it. I just think they should stop. You know what I mean? They have not been fighting this thing, and they should just let the people who have been doing it. We have been carrying the brunt of this revolution. If they really want to help us win this war, whoever they have down there who is loyal to them should go out there in our communities and protect our people against La République du Cameroon. You cannot have a fighting force on the ground and you say your mission is for kidnapping. No. Your first responsibility is to protect the community from the terrorist troops of La République du Cameroon. If you are not doing that, then why do you want to go and create a force to fight kidnapping? Go and fight La République. If we win La République, then we can now fix our country where there won't be any lawlessness anymore. You know, you don't do that. You don't just go and claim you want to fix one little problem when the bigger problem is there. Go and fight La République. Let them start. How many La République troops have they killed in the past 1-2 years? How many La République soldiers have the AFDF attacked in years? So that's their job. They should go and do that instead of trying to form something that will never work. Ambazonians don't believe it because those who are creating groups to fight kidnappers they themselves will be the one kidnapping you. That's the way I would look at it. I think they are actually creating a group to go around kidnapping people. So that's what they do. They have actually come out. One of their people actually came out one time and said, anybody in the diaspora who is not contributing, when they go down on home front to celebrate, to do a live celebration for their loved ones, they got to arrest them and ask them for exorbitant amount of money. That's kidnapping. They have actually said it on national television. So somebody like that has no credibility to create something like that on home front. If they want to fight and if they carry guns, let them go and protect our people that we are doing. Thank you.
It is outrageous what people say on national TV. It really is outrageous. Wow. So we have this very wise counsel from a senior comrade, raising mega Balengia with day and no fear.
All right, he says, I have chatted with many people in the struggle who have advanced differing opinions on whether or not to demonstrate against Yaoundé coming to town. People are scared of being exposed to Yaoundé to be arrested. I don't know how this fear has succeeded to creep into our midst, but we all know that our matriculations and telephone numbers locate our homes with precision. If the US government wanted to arrest all of us, they would have. We know we know how independent the various arms of government function in here. Only last week, the predominantly Republican Supreme Court bench voted to hand over Donald Trump's tax returns to the Congress. We also know that the U.S. government protects institutions and citizens. The 501c status said to the ABC TV at the time spoke volumes. It was not an act of benevolence that President Sako was accorded U.S. citizenship when we needed it the most. It was duty. It was God shielding Amazonians.
Well, more precedent has been set in the matter of lawsuits in the U.S. already. The controversial Tapang's case, in which the court upheld his right to self-defense, was a landmark precedent. Why then is there this sudden fear amongst us? It stated that nobody came into the struggle without expecting repercussions. Convenient accidents, outright killings, and disappearances. Are we not ready? Concerning the president's position on demos, I am happy stance is informed by sounder reasons, but we must overcome in amongst us. There is only one way to tell Yaoundé that we are truly undaunted: the raising of a staggering amounts of US dollars to finance lawyers and a huge media campaign. I can tell because it is a costly endeavor. I think Tasang for Metiva. B has a spine. If he did, he would have met us in Geneva, sending cold shivers down his spine. This weekend, Saturday, December 3rd, let Ambazonians mobilize around her leader and pour a very hot bowl of water down Paul Bia's on the let us tell him we are not moved. This is from ICWFT, a very wise counsel, a senior comrade.
All right, and I love those words there. We are ready. I'm sure that Ambazonians in the home front and in the diaspora are ready. But please remember that we are still trying to connect the press TV in Brazil, and as soon as that is done, we will definitely bring you up to speed with that particular interview. But now let's move on. The vice president is still here, and for the fact that he's still here, we all will be here waiting for the president to connect with the TV in Brazil, and then we'll bring you that. So, Mr. Vice, please would want to know. Now, let's go back a bit to the indictment. Remember, that's part of the flyer that was shared, and I'm sure that a lot of Ambazonians would want to know the latest, and especially today to relate it to the political intrigue cases. Now, let's talk about victory. You said earlier on that it's not something to be scared of. We know, but let's take a victory from political angle. What are you promising Ambazonians as regards this indictment and as regards when victory would be given? What is your take?
Well, you mean if you mean victory about the case, I have
Yes, please.
I've asked someone who is not a lawyer. I have personally looked at the case, and I think I spoke about it, at length earlier, where I said, one, there is nothing wrong with any Ambazonian supporting the Ambazonian Restoration Forces. That's the first point. That's the first solace that people must find in this, in the sense that the Ambazonian Restoration Forces are a self-defense group defending their community. They are freedom fighters. They have never been declared a terrorist organization by the Congress of the United States. So no one can ever come and arrest you for supporting them. Second of all, most of the money that we contribute in the diaspora, we are doing it as humanitarian support. Why do I say that? Let me give you an example. If I take my money and I give it to a humanitarian organization, within a system with people who are in distress, or if I, as an individual, takes out $1,000, and somebody calls me from home front and say, "Hey, I am really suffering with my family. I am in the bushes right now. Please send me $1,000 so I can help my family." When I send them that money and they make the decision, or they determine that, you know what, instead of using this $1,000 to buy food, I will take 500 to buy bullets to arm myself against a regime sending terrorist troops to kill me. If he takes out $500 from that money and buys bullets to protect himself, and takes 500 to feed his family, are you the person who sent him that money to help him to blame? Are you guys listening to me? So what I'm trying to say is that Ambazonians should not worry about these things, because we are not doing anything wrong, nothing whatsoever. This thing was probably concocted by some enablers in Gokutunja who connive with some other enabler in the United States to prevail on the Justice Department to indict our comrades. But we should all look at our own individual positions. Like all of you sitting right there. If what we are doing today on ABC TV was being done from a lawless country, what would have happened already? They would have arrested the two of you already. They would have shut down ABC already. But this is the country of law. Even the president of the United States cannot stop a case. You mentioned Donald Trump. His organization just got convicted in New York for tax evasion. He's a former president. He's a powerful man. But that doesn't negate the fact that the United States is a country of law. So what I'm trying to say is that contributing money to a non-profit organization, contributing money to help a people in distress, is not a crime. If someone says, "I'm going to pull out from this thing because I don't want to be arrested," then you just don't love your people or Ambazonia, because no harm will come to you for contributing to help your own people. If someone picks up their phone today and if somebody picks up their phone, like I said, and calls me from home front and say, "Mr. Vice President, I'm in distress. I need money." Am I supposed to be afraid to send them the money? No. So it's the same thing. So every Ambazonian should know this. Come out and draft for your federal government. Let's empower our people. Let's help our people on the ground. Let's help all the women who are in there. We have a Department of Women's Affairs. They contribute money all the time. They talk to the widows of the fighters. They help young girls who are in distress, and things like that. So the interim government is bigger than just self-defense. The interim government does more than just self-defense. So no Ambazonian should ever be afraid, or no Ambazonian should ever let what has happened to these three comrades discourage them. It should be more of an encouragement to everyone to do a little bit more so we can bring freedom to our country and bring some sanity in our society. That's all I have to say. Ladies, I don't know, I have somewhere to go, so it's been very great speaking with you. Do you have any more questions, or am I free to take leave?
Well, we would have kept you, but we wouldn't want you to be late for your other engagement.
If you have something
knowing
else to
that
ask me,
the position
I'm
you
ready to answer.
occupy expects you to be very diligent and prompt with your activity. So would allow you to leave now. But I'm sure that we may have you on Saturday, but that's if you're less busy before the draft, because we need a lot of momentum for the federal draft on Saturday. But if you have to leave now, would allow you to leave.
It's been an amazing moment with you, Vice President.
Let me just give a little closing remark here. Onye and Staff Smart, you are freedom fighters. Yes. Don't ever let anyone tell you otherwise. Every Ambazonian out there listening to my voice, be proud of what you do. Be proud of what you do. I distinctly remember that during the American Revolution, Benjamin Franklin was sent to France to solicit money from the French government to help the struggle. When he went there, he had to beg. He had to go to Versailles Palace to meet Louis XVI and begged like a child for France to come to the aid of the United States against the war they fought against Britain, and for the war they fought against Britain. I wonder how he was looked upon at that time when he was begging for that support. He was probably looked upon by the French elites like a small American man just coming here to beg us to help their war against Britain. The French at that moment supported the United States, the American Revolution, not because they wanted to see America free, but it was more so because they hated England. I guess what I'm trying to say is that we of this interim government, we are official beggars of the revolution. We are actually beggars. We are actually like Benjamin Franklin going over to France and soliciting money from Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette to fund the revolution in America. So that's what we are. We are the Benjamin Franklins of our time. We are begging Ambazonians to come and contribute so we can free our people. There is nothing shameful about being a beggar. We are begging that come and support us so we can win this government. We are also begging the international community to say, open your eyes and see the injustice of this debacle that we find ourselves in. So that is my little pep talk for today. You guys are doing a great job. Every Ambazonian who has ever contributed to this revolution, either through what you are doing or financially, should never be afraid to keep fighting. Never be afraid to keep fighting, because you know what? They might try to stop us. They have tried to stop up with bullets. They haven't succeeded for 5 years. Now they might try to go through the US system. We welcome it, because you know what? We know it's gonna favor us. So let's keep hope alive and keep working hard and help our people down there defend themselves. Thank you, ladies, and have a wonderful day. Ambazonians, I'm really glad to have been here today with you guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Thank
too.
you too.
Thank you, too.
Thank you.
We the people, ABC Amba TV, Ambazonia Broadcasting Corporation. The voice of the voiceless. the voice of Ambazonia, connecting the world from Africa with untold stories, Africa's best.
The media greatly influences society, the people about what is happening, permeates people's lives by creating their own criteria and opinions. In this way, the media moves the masses, creating different social movements.
For over 60 years, the people of Amba were deprived of such privileges. The privilege to enhance their own care and opinion. They have suffered cultural genocide for 6 long decades, but not in this age and not with Undaunted ABC Amba News on board.
You must understand that wars are fought and won in the media. The speed of the revolution on Ambazonia's quest for freedom cannot be explained without highlighting the diligent use of the media.
Franco-Cameroon colonizers, among other strategic moves, weaponized the media against Ambazonia for so long, and they continue to do so even today. The question would be, how much do the oppressed people of Ambazonia need to counter the media rage?
Indeed, how much more is required to stop the genocide? The carnage in Ambazonia didn't start today. In 1960, 1972, 1984, 1992, Ambazonians were slaughtered in huge numbers and help was not forthcoming. Why? Because the oppressor was the piper in the media.
The good news is we have what it takes to dictate the pace.
Right now, ABC Amba TV is taking advantage of the wonders of multimedia aggressively
to inform and disinformed with Undaunted and other revolutionary programs bringing it to the news until
most importantly, to win the media war by taking ABC Amba TV into every multimedia platform.
In a word, where the importance of storytelling can never be overemphasized, has to tell her own story, not the other way around.
And like we say it always, Ambazonia must narrate her story accurately. We can do this together, you know, right? You are just a click away. Visit our website at www.abcambatv.com. The steps are quite simple.
With just a click on the website, you can become a club member with so many benefits.
You can also make a one-time donation, advertise and showcase your goods and services at the marketplace on the website.
That was right. You're welcome on board.
And thank you for opting for the winning team. The media greatly influences society. They inform people's happening. It permeates people's lives by creating their own criteria and opinions. In this way, the media moves the masses, creating different social movements.
For over 60 years, the people of Ambazonia were deprived of such privileges. The privilege to enhance their own criteria and opinion. They have suffered cultural genocide for 6 long decades, but not in this age and not with Undaunted ABC Amba News on board.
You must understand that wars are fought and won in the media. The speed of the revolution on Ambazonia's quest for freedom cannot be explained without highlighting the diligent use of the media.
Franco-Cameroon colonizers, among other strategic moves, weaponized the media against Ambazonia for so long, and they continue to do so even today. The question would be, how much the oppressed people of Ambazonia need to counter the media rage?
Indeed, How much more is required to stop the genocide? The carnage in Ambazonia didn't start today. In 1961, 1970, 1984, 1992, Ambazonians were slaughtered in huge numbers and help was not forthcoming. Why? Because the oppressor was the piper in the media.
The good news is we have what it takes to dictate the pace.
Right now, he's taking advantage of the wonders of multimedia aggressively
to inform the misinformed, disinformed, with Undaunted and other programs bringing into the news untold stories.
Most importantly, win the media war by taking ABC Amba TV in a multimedia platform.
In a word, where the importance of storytelling can never be overemphasized, Ambazonians has to tell her own story, not the other way round.
Like we say it always, Ambazonia must narrate her story accurately. We can do this together, you know, right? You click away, visit our website at www.abcambatv.com, and the steps are quite simple.
With just a click on the website, you can become a club member with so many benefits.
You can also make a one-time donation, advertise and showcase your goods and services at the marketplace on the website.
That was easy, right? You're welcome on board.
And thank you for opting for the winning team.
Good evening, fellow Amazonians, ladies and gentlemen. I'm aware that you're all waiting. I was not supposed to come live, but we still are trying to connect the station in Brazil. As soon as that connection is established, you have the president to enact that discussion. I'm calling on all those who are watching us on Facebook and on YouTube and even on satellite to stand by. Those who are watching on Facebook, keep sharing. We will come with the president as soon as this. In a few minutes, I think we'll be done with the connection. They are not used to our system, so they are trying to connect so that we can pick the image, stream it on satellite, and have the Amazonian people participate in this exceptional interview. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Get trained as an IT professional from the comfort of your home. Dynamic Tech Academy gives you a unique opportunity through our 6-month program, during which you learn skills to transition to being a full-time IT professional. Over 80% of our students have no prior IT background, yet the vast majority of them land jobs a month after they start applying. Our ultimate goal is to reach 100% student placement, so we work with every student until he or she gets a job. Upon successful completion of the course, we will give you a resume, interview preps, one-on-one coaching from experienced instructors, and job placement assistance. Within this course, you get more than 300 hours of theories combined with real-world applications and practical skills you can apply on day one on your job. At the end of the program, our students can be certified as Red Hat Systems Administrator, AWS Cloud Engineer, AWS Security Specialist. Visit our website at www.dynamictechacademy.com to register.
All right, may we share the grace.
May the grace of our Lord be with you in all that you do.
Rocktown in the building.
Rocktown in the building. Rich boy on the beach. Ay, 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 ay. Thunder. Ha. Hey, booby. May the grace
Of our Lord be with you in all that you do.
turn it up, turn it up, turn it up.
With all that's fair,
Na 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 na.
your labor will not be vain.
His mighty hands is upon you, and there is nothing.
There's nothing that you cannot achieve.
Amen, amen, no. Amen, no. Amen, amen, no. amen, oh. Amen, amen. Listen, listen. Let I go follow you. It's all about it. Let I go follow you. Let your banner. Let I go follow you. If you believe, let I go follow you. Na na na. Yeah, 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 yeah. Amen, amen. Carico. I no better cut it. Money kill a fe. Me no go down grade. Up, you dey go. Fly so high like an eagle. Jehovah controller. Amen, amen, amen. You will go so high and everything go to work for you. Amen, amen, amen. Amen, amen, amen. Oh, yeah. You shall not die but live long life. I pray for you. Amen, amen, amen. Amen, amen, amen. Oh, yeah. You go to try, you go to feel, you go to go, you go to come. Now the grace of God, they carry you go. Let the grace of be with you in all that you do. You are successful. Your labor will not be in vain. His mighty hands, and there is nothing. Amen, amen, oh. Amen, oh. Amen, oh. Amen, oh. Amen, oh. Listen. Let I go follow you. It's all about it. Let I go follow you. Let your banner. Let I go follow you. If you believe, let I go follow you. Na. Yeah. Amen. Carico. I no better cut it. Money kill a fe. Me no go down grade. Up, you dey go. Fly so high like an eagle. Jehovah controller. Amen, amen, amen.
K-A-L-L-E. Wabi rapper. This is the truth. You like to hear. This is the truth. We're gonna make you look your ear. This is the truth, bro. You like to hear. Wada. We don't cry, the government know the year we cry. Southern Cameroon and look at our faces, there's no smile. Peace not there for pay, that's why you see tears for our eye. Make they stop the war because in our border them they die. We never ever be together, stop the lie. You take my team with power, then you still the high. You get hard for stand for front TV, continue the lie. Now for you, forgive me back, my team back, I get for cry. No be the motto, be a peace walk, fatherland. But now for the peace for work, we get for mother man. As you the cut, no forget my way, he plant a man. You want for chopper, us in your papa get the farm. I know say very soon, I go be a ghost. I know if you get black level, my man the froze. Even a one cup tea, we get for toast. Some more time, then go candy tell we get your shows. I know be able to say for guarantee good picture for my kid. Picking the nose for all kind of gun before them big. They couldn't self check and escape a good way for live. So it's time to table the matter, cause people still believe. Though, now we get the food, you get the market. They would say, come back with the empty pocket. One neighbor Nigeria, then they made their rocket. But I'm not sure what that Cameroon, they make even bucket. Cameroon reach for all team, not just for government poor. Only tax they make waka people for setting them for poor. Even now you go invest for years, say you do. Can't you win that money, people did decide the law. Wow, man nothing again for not freely at all. Nearly every day, man, they now with the left for floor. See, can't you win that two different parties, they make the law. I they pray for God, me man Jack, I no witness the war. This is the truth, you like to hear. This is the truth, we're gonna make you lock your ear. This is the truth, bro, you like to hear. Whoa, yo, I know some people then go test me at home. But it's time to stand together, make they change the law. Because no man know the way they enjoy the war. So I wish they make this song rich for my way they make the law. My way they chop you and drop you peso for choke. We don't overtake and now we know fi cope. Leaders of tomorrow, now so we no get hope. Money they been get me home for no line of hope. So make it tell me waiting, I go tell Manjaka. If tomorrow he ask and papa wait to start the matter. No be all we know say all we will be being our brothers. So make it tell about the matter, make for me be in order. But it dey like say some man go die before they agree. But now how many people they get for die before we free? How I wish get me for move my belly so I know for see. All the gunshot and killings where they happen around me. When man overstay in tears, he get with your face. The thing that's me personal, that's why I didn't show my face. I dey ready for Gongata if not that one be the case. But before you judge my action, make you don't resolve the case. Because they always depend for a better nation. Peace work, fatherland, who's they keep the vision. Pay you go be fine, but now when that is the question. They must solve the matter, we are the choosing generation. This is the truth, you like to hear. This is the truth, we're gonna make you lock your ear. This is the truth, bro, you like to hear. Oh, yo.
Ambazonian mother, there is hope, Ma Eli. I stand at the brow of the hill. The sea lies stretched out in the horizon. The Amba's bay, sun-bathed in the distance. There is no end to the coastline. What beauty! How attractive! This West African coast seething with fish and game. Then I turned around and looked further north, where the land is dark and giant trees gladden you with fruit. Further north I went, the cold and the red soil mingling to give a fresh new season of crops, wine and oil abundantly, with artists and craftsmen working unceasingly to produce cloth and craft in community. What a land! This is our inheritance given to us by our ancestors. What a land! We will hand it over to our kids at our exit. More varied in character, so overwhelmingly fruitful you never saw. A more welcoming people you have never met. We opened doors to friends and invaders alike, but all they brought was death. I turned around again to watch my children at play. They were not there. There was uncanny silence, but for the sporadic gunshot, all was changed. The land, the coastline, and our children have been sold, and everything is ravaged. Sold for a paltry sum of coins, and our children lay dying in the streets. I saw women widowed at the blink of the eyes, and men shot down and dragged into prison with hot cauldrons for pillows, tied to filthy beds to die without attendants. And some were my personal friends and relatives, and your personal friends and relatives, comrades. The Ambazonian mother stands shivering with baby on the back. Infants who themselves are marked for slaughter by a band of killers. I tremble, not with cold, but with despair. My children, my babies. And desperation brings anger. It surges from within me, coursing through my bones like an electrified body, until I can contain it no longer. This is not fever. No, it's grief. I keep the rain and the mosquitoes from my dying infants with the palm of my hand covering their faces. The roof and the floor were blown off by the thieves and grabbers. The plight of my people has hit me hard on the face, and my heart throbs to the rhythm of the shivering of my bones. I can hold it no longer. The attackers are running round Ambazonian terrain like rats on a board of chess. They talk of unity, yea, without care. The Ambazonian mother has embodied her hopeful countrymen, but also the humiliation of her children, stretching out a hand without being noticed. My children are heroes at the forefront. To them, life and death are the same thing, yet they fight on with hopes of a glance of goodwill from the good people of this earth. Be assured, never has the hawk swooped down on the chicken without braving stiff resistance from the mother hen. And here we stand, Ambazonian mothers. We are Ambazonian mother hens. We skip century.
Yeah. Okay, fellow Ambazonians, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who are watching us, in a few minutes we're going to commence this discussion. I'd like you to affirm to me that you can hear me from the studio, please, before I bring in the president. Can you people hear me? Now somebody should be coordinating there. I can hear you. Can you hear me? You have to confirm that you can hear me. Can you hear me from here?
I worship you. I worship you. You are here, working in this place. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, moving in our midst. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, working in this place. I worship you. I worship you. Hey, waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are here, touching every heart. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, healing every heart. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, turning lives around. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, mending every heart. I worship you. I worship you.
Mr. President, please, can you hear me? Please kindly check your device, kindly.
Hey, we make a miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. That is who you are. Hey, we make a miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You wipe away all tears. You mend the broken heart. You're the answer to it all. Jesus, you wipe away all tears. You mend the broken heart. You're the answer to it all. To it all. Jesus, yeah. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are here, touching every life. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, meeting every need. I worship you. I worship you. Oh,
small, intellectually, politically, and economically insignificant Africa. But is that really true? Now, here are the facts. Africa has a total area space larger than all of Europe, China, and the United States of America combined. Yes, it is 3 times the area of China, 3 times the area of Europe, 3 times the area of the United States of America, meaning you can transplant China, Europe, and United States, and several other countries on the Africa continent, and they will fit neatly. Africa is 30.5 million square kilometers and a youthful population of 1.3 billion inhabitants. China is 9.6 million square kilometers and 1.4 billion inhabitants. India has a total space of 3.3 million square kilometers and 1.4 billion inhabitants. Now, yet, Africa is projected as overpopulated, and pressure mounts on Africans and their leaders to depopulate. Why? Why? Now, please note, Africa is home to 60% of the world's arable land, 90% of raw material reserve, 40% of gold reserve, 33% of diamond reserve, 95% of platinum reserve, and holds the largest bauxite reserves in the world. Of course, in addition to manganese, woods, uranium, crude oil, and others. Yet, the continent is touted as the poverty capital of the world and ripe for depopulation. The question is, why? Well, President Jacques Chirac of France provides an illuminating insight. He said, "We bled Africa for 4.5 centuries. We looted their raw materials, then we told lies that the Africans are good for nothing. In the name of religion, we destroyed their culture. And after being made rich at their expense, we now steal their brains through miseducation and propaganda to prevent them from enacting black retribution against us," unquote. Well, put simply, for over 4 centuries, Africa is not in control of its resources. Look, a 2016 study of Africa by the NGO called War on Want reveals that 101 companies, mostly British, control $305 billion worth of platinum, $276 billion worth of oil, and $216 billion worth of coal at 2016 market prices. Yes, they own mines or mineral licenses in 37 African countries and control vast swaths of Africa's land, 4 times the size of the United Kingdom. Now look, Africa subsidizes the rest of the world by $32 billion annually. A 2017 report by Global Justice Now and other groups estimates that 106.
Yes, thank you very much, fellow Amazonians, for being patient after the long work with us as we try to connect the both studios. We are ready to have the president connected from his office with a crew in Brazil. Stay on. I'm watching on social media. Please try to tell us, give us feedback on the situation of the sound, and so that anything we can fix it. Yes, you can write down.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can begin.
Então, agora já está começando, tá? Yeah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, greetings and welcome to ABC here in Brazil. We are extremely very sorry for the late start. You know, the machines were giving us a lot of problems. Mr. President, you are welcome into the studios of ABC here in Brazil. And it is the delight of the Brazilian people to hear you tell them something about Ambazonia. And because they don't understand what I'm actually saying, I will hand over to the journalist who is involved and in charge, and then he will take up from there, and he will be with you, Mr. President, for the people of people of Brazil who are extremely expectant to hearing from you. Thank you very much, Mr. President, and once again, we are very sorry for the little hitches that came over there. Thank you. Can Mr. President say something?
Olá, muito boa tarde, boa tarde você, nosso nobre presidente, Dr. Samuel Sacco. Aqui fala o jornalista e também pastor Xavier, direto da TV Fala Guarulhos, cidade de Guarulhos, São Paulo. Para nós é muito... para nós, querido presidente Samuel Sacco, é muito gratificante e estamos muito felizes falando com Vossa Excelência nessa tarde.
Welcome, Mr. President, to broadcast for our radio and our Facebook transmission in Brazil. We are very glad to have you here. Our people are expectant to hear a word from you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. Thank you, people of Brazil. Thank you, Ambazonians. Thank you for having me.
Falar com você aqui direto do Brasil, dizer que nós aqui do Brasil estamos felizes em poder estar fazendo essa primeira transmissão direto aqui dos estúdios da TV Fala Guarulhos, e o povo brasileiro tem um carinho muito grande pela Amazônia e um respeito muito grande por Vossa Excelência, excelentíssimo senhor presidente, Dr. Samuel Sacco.
Dear President, we are very honored to have you here with us and to be speaking with you from the studios of our radio Speak Guarulhos here in Brazil. I want to tell you that the people of Brazil have great respect and great love for you people of Ambazonia.
Queremos dizer, querido presidente,
We want to say,
que
Mr.
gostaríamos
President, that we would like
de manter essa conexão
to keep this connection
e que não fique só nessa vez, mas que possamos
and that it doesn't stop only this time, but that
semanalmente, ou uma vez por semana,
we may periodically, maybe once a week,
ou mesmo uma vez por mês, fazer essa conexão Brasil-Amazônia,
or maybe even once a month to have this connection Brazil-Amazonia,
para que possamos levar para o Brasil e para a Amazônia, ambas as nações, ter conhecimento do que acontece no Brasil e na Amazônia.
to have this connection between the two nations so that both nations can know what is going on between both the nations.
Nós, brasileiros, temos um carinho muito grande pelo povo da Amazônia, a partir do momento em que passamos a conhecer a Amazônia na pessoa do nosso querido pastor Ivo, vosso conselheiro espiritual.
We people of Brazil have great care and love for the people of Amazonia. As soon as we started to know Amazonia and its history through the person of Pastor Commando, your spiritual counselor.
Esperamos, dentro de pouco tempo, que se resolva toda a situação concernente à independência da Amazônia, para que nós, brasileiros, possamos conhecer a Amazônia, pisar nesse país e juntos glorificarmos ao Deus Todo-Poderoso pela liberdade e também a independência total do povo da Amazônia.
We expect and we hope for the freedom of Amazonia very soon so that we Brazilians can step onto that land and together we can glorify and thank God for liberty, for freedom, and for the land of Amazonia.
Assim como esperamos também
As we also hope
que o excelentíssimo senhor presidente possa
that you, Mr. President, may
estar vindo aqui no Brasil,
come here to Brazil,
onde possamos falar pessoalmente
to where we can speak personally,
e que possamos fazer um intercâmbio maior, Brasil-Amazônia.
and we can have a greater exchange between Brazil and Amazonia.
Somos um só povo,
We are one people,
brasileiro e Amazônia,
Brazilians and Amazonia,
Brasil e África.
Brazil and Africa.
Somos um só povo,
We are one people
porque há só um Deus,
because there is only one God,
poderoso,
powerful,
dono das nossas vidas.
owner of our lives.
Eu gostaria que o senhor presidente falasse para nós um pouco mais da Amazônia.
We would like for you, President, to tell us a little bit more about Amazonia. What is Amazonia? The history of Amazonia.
Thank you, my host. Thank you, people of Amazonia who are here with us, Pastor Commando. Thank you, the great people of Brazil. You have shown us love.
Obrigado, meu anfitrião. Obrigado, povo de Amazônia. Obrigado, povo do Brasil. Pastor Comando, todos que estão com você aí. Muito obrigado. Vocês têm nos mostrado amor.
You know, true love is love like God loves all of us, not because of what we can give him.
O verdadeiro amor é o amor como o que Deus tem por nós, não por causa daquilo que nós possamos dar para ele.
The way the people of Brazil have embraced Amazonia is like God himself loves the people of Amazonia.
A forma que o povo do Brasil tem abraçado a Amazônia é a forma que Deus mesmo ama a Amazônia.
And I want to say that you did this because you care about the truth and you want to be on the right side, on the good side of history.
E eu quero dizer que vocês fizeram isso porque vocês se importam com a verdade. Vocês querem estar do lado da verdade, do lado certo da história e do lado do bem.
One day our history will be written and it will be said that the people of Brazil were those who stepped out through the church and the political leadership to embrace the truth concerning the plight of the people of Amazonia.
Dia nossa história será contada e vai ser dito que o povo do Brasil se levantou como igreja e como povo pela verdade para lutar junto com o povo de Amazônia.
The story of Amazonia is the story of an international conspiracy against the people of Amazonia.
A história de Amazônia é a história de uma conspiração internacional.
We were granted independence by the same organization, the United Nations organization that granted independence to all other countries in Africa.
Foi nos dada a independência pela mesma organização que deu a independência de todas as outras nações africanas.
But when it came to our turn, they decided that we should be independent, but join another independent country and form a union of two states of equal status.
Foi nos dada a independência, mas foi nos dito que nós deveríamos nos unir a um outro país para tornar uma união de duas nações independentes.
And the choice was between Nigeria and French Cameroon.
E a escolha então era entre a Nigéria e Camarões franceses.
So we elected to join with French Cameroon to create the United Nations mandated country called the Federal Republic of Amazon, the Federal Republic of Cameroon.
E através desse nós deveríamos nos unir junto com Camarões franceses para nos tornar a República Federativa de Camarões.
So while we were contemplating that this is a gentleman's agreement, as was mandated by the United Nations, the French Cameroon, backed by the French, were contemplating annexation and colonization of the British Southern Cameroon.
Enquanto nós estávamos planejando essa união de duas nações soberanas, na verdade, camarões franceses estavam planejando a anexação e subjugação do nosso país, da nossa nação.
So that experiment failed from the beginning.
Então, esse experimento falhou desde o começo.
They refused to sign an agreement with us that would have specified the terms of our union as two different countries.
Eles recusaram assinar um papel, um termo que especificaria então os termos da nossa liberdade como nações independentes, cada uma.
Instead, they released their gendarmes and their soldiers and they overrun our territory and made us their slaves for 61 years now.
Ao invés disso, eles tomaram nosso território, colocaram soldados e nos fizeram escravos deles por 61 anos.
Every time we try to speak out, to cry out and say, this is not right,
Todas as vezes que nós tentamos falar e clamar e dizer isto não está certo,
they took away everything that we had.
eles tiraram tudo que nós tínhamos.
They dissolved our government,
Eles dissolveram o nosso governo,
dissolved our parliament,
dissolveram o nosso parlamento.
and they killed our people, targeted them, and started killing our political leaders.
Eles mataram todo o nosso povo e começaram matando os nossos líderes políticos.
They forced us into exile.
Eles nos forçaram ao exílio.
Every time we try to have genuine dialogue, they send their soldiers and their military helicopters, they gun us down like animals.
Todas as vezes que nós tentamos falar e ter a nossa liberdade, eles mandaram exército, helicópteros e armas e atiraram e mataram o nosso povo.
Our land is full of blood.
Nossa terra está cheia de sangue.
In 2016, 2017, we said no, enough is enough.
Em 2016, 2017, nós decidimos não, já
We
basta.
were a free people. We tried to join ourselves with another brothers in the spirit of African Union to try to forge a new country. If that experiment has failed, there is no need for us to remain here and all be killed. So we decided to restore our sovereignty as it were in 1961.
Nós dissemos então, povo livre, sempre fomos um povo livre, e nós tentamos nos juntar aos nossos irmãos no verdadeiro espírito africano de irmandade. E esse experimento desde o começo não funcionou. Então, nós temos a soberana nação e nós vamos restaurar a nossa soberania como foi desde o início.
So what was their response? Instead of coming to have genuine dialogue with our people, they arrested all the leaders they could find, and they released an army of more than 10,000 soldiers with tanks and helicopter gunships, and have killed about 50,000 plus of our people since 2017 for daring to ask questions about the state of our so-called union of two states of prosperity.
E a resposta que eles deram foi mandar tanques e armas e um exército de mais de 30 mil pessoas, e mais de 50 mil já foram mortos, apenas pelo fato de nós fazermos perguntas a respeito da nossa liberdade.
So, we have said that the truth cannot be wiped out.
Então, nós sempre dizemos que a verdade não pode ser apagada.
In 2019, we took our stories to the streets of Brazil.
Então, em 2019, nós levamos a nossa história até as ruas do Brasil.
And we came with a message that let the righteous many step out.
E viemos com uma mensagem que os muitos justos se manifestem.
Because when those that know the truth are silent, the evil few will continue to destroy the world and the peace.
Porque quando aqueles que conhecem a verdade ficam no silêncio, a maldade toma o mundo e destrói a nossa paz.
I want to appreciate the thousands we met and many, even among political leaders, that decided to stand for the truth. Even when La Republique tried from behind to stop us, they told them to their face that the truth must prevail in Ambazonia.
E nós queremos Tem todos aqueles que ficaram com a verdade, mesmo quando a República de Camarões tentou intimidar e tentou vir contra aqueles que abriram a boca e falaram a verdade.
That is how some people decided in the days of Mandela, they decided to side with the white apartheid against the people of South Africa.
Foi assim que aconteceu nos dias de Mandela. Muitos decidiram ficar com os brancos no tempo do apartheid, no tempo de Mandela.
There are those who saw the whole picture and said, no, this is where the truth is. And they stood with the people of South Africa and the people of Mandela. Today they can be proud of themselves.
Houveram aqueles que viram a situação toda, viram a verdade e disseram, não, esta é a verdade, isso é o que é certo. E resolveram ficar do lado da verdade e hoje eles podem ter orgulho do que eles fizeram.
And those who supported the white apartheid because it was convenient for them. Today, I think they are ashamed of themselves when historians write and say that is where they stood.
E aqueles que ficaram com os brancos e com o regime da maldade, hoje eles com certeza têm vergonha quando a história é dita e é dito para que lado eles ficaram.
In that regard, I want to thank the people of Brazil again, beginning from the church.
E por isso eu quero agradecer de novo o povo do Brasil, começando com a igreja.
Because you are the light of the world.
Porque vocês são a luz do mundo.
And through you have educated even more people to know that it is rather we stand with the people on the side of truth than for the conveniences of the corrupt of this world.
E através de vocês foi ensinado para o povo que é muito melhor ficar com a verdade do que ficar com aquilo que é conveniente no momento.
We want to strengthen this relationship.
Nós queremos fortalecer esse relacionamento.
More of our people will be coming to Brazil.
Mais do nosso povo vai vir para o Brasil.
To ensure that we continue to educate the masses and continue to build our network.
Nós vamos continuar a educar as massas e continuar a abrir e a expandir a nossa rede.
Very soon, the flag of Brazil will fly somewhere in our Restoration Palace in Beira, where our capital city. Your flag will be one of the first to fly on the hill in Beira.
Muito logo, a bandeira do Brasil vai ser a primeira, uma das primeiras a voar na nossa casa capital do estado de Bueia, a presidência do nosso país.
Thank you.
Obrigada.
Querido presidente, eu quero fazer uma pergunta.
Dear President, I do want to ask you a question.
O que as nações de grandes potências como os Estados Unidos e outras nações estão fazendo, ou que esforços estão fazendo para que a Amazônia seja de fato reconhecido como nação?
What are great nations like the United States and others doing, or what can they do to help recognize Amazonia as a sovereign nation?
You know, the first thing they should do is to have the political will to do something. Because sometimes everybody knows what is right, or everybody knows what is wrong, but it takes political will to do something, if at all.
Tudo que precisa ser feito, que as nações precisam fazer, é saber o que é a verdade, ter a coragem de falar daquilo que é certo. Muitas das vezes, todos sabem a verdade, mas não têm a força de vontade de ficar contra a correnteza e fazer o que é certo, e contra a maioria.
Our political leaders must understand that humanity is one.
Nós, líderes políticos, precisam entender que a humanidade é uma.
And that, like a body, if any part of it is in pain, the whole body is in pain.
E assim como o nosso corpo, se uma parte do corpo está com dor, todos estão com dor.
The world has reason to stand on the side of Ukraine
O mundo
against
Ucrânia?
Against the annexation of Russia.
Contra a anexação da Rússia.
But that's exactly what is happening to us by the Republic of Cameroon,
Mas
who,
isso é
who has decided to annex us and annihilate us and colonize us in
Mas
the
isso é
21st
exatamente
century.
o que está acontecendo com Camarões, que está tentando nos anexar e nos aniquilar.
If it is wrong in Ukraine, it is wrong in Amazonia.
Se isso é errado na Ucrânia, é errado em Amazônia.
I'm just calling on the leaders to have the political will to say what is right, to condemn what is wrong, and to be bold to do so, even if that is not good, that does not sit well with some of their friends. We need political will to do the right thing.
Então, eu estou chamando os líderes políticos para serem ousados e terem a força para falar daquilo que é certo, ficar ao lado da verdade e não ficar do lado do que é errado, mesmo que seja inconveniente, mesmo que eles vão contra os seus próprios amigos, mas ficarem com a verdade, ficarem com o que é certo.
We need help for our refugees. We need help for our IDPs. And we need people who can be bold to stop the genocide by direct political or military action to stop the ongoing genocide. Anything that has taken more than 50,000 people's lives, if that was happening in Europe, what do you think would have been done?
Nós precisamos de ajuda política de países que possam entrar com forças armadas e que possam fazer aquilo que precisa ser feito. Se qualquer guerra que leva à vida de 50.000 pessoas é errado. Se isso tivesse acontecido na Europa, o que já seria feito no mundo?
Querido presidente, nós estamos aqui com o pastor Dantas. Ele gostaria de fazer uma pergunta para o eminente presidente.
Dear President, we are here with my friend Pastor Dantas, and he would like to ask a question for you.
Thank you.
Good
Presidente Samuel,
afternoon, Mr. President. Samuel Sako,
presidente da Amazônia.
President of Ambazonia. Thank you for these beautiful words for our country, Brazil.
Sobre essa independência.
I heard you speaking about this independence.
Eu quero fazer uma pergunta para o senhor.
I do have a question to ask you.
Senhor presidente, qual a sua intervenção nessa atitude de ser independente? Por tudo isso que o senhor está passando, o país está passando.
What is your action right now? What are you doing or the country doing for your independence through everything that the country is going through?
Okay. We were already granted independence on the 21st of April 1961 by the United Nations.
Já foi nos dada a independência no dia 1º de abril de 1961 pelas Nações Unidas, 21 de abril.
And then we tried to join ourselves with another country, which instead of a gentleman's agreement to join, they decided to annex us. And that's what we are coming out of now by restoring our independence.
Então, nós queríamos assinar um tratado de independência, mas ao invés disso, foi nos feita uma anexação por uma nação de forma ilegal. E agora nós estamos, na verdade, tentando sair dessa anexação.
So what we need now is that we are working towards recognition. We want the countries, especially those countries who voted yes for our independence, to be bold, to step forward and recognize the independence they voted yes for. And that includes the United States. They voted yes for our independence.
Então, tudo que nós temos agora é exatamente que essas nações que já reconheceram a nossa independência, que votaram sim na nossa independência lá no começo, continue tomando a mesma posição, incluindo Brasil e Estados Unidos.
Ótimo, presidente. Outra pergunta que o senhor falou aqui, que o país
Another question is,
ele foi derramado muito sangue.
you have said that there's been a lot of bloodshed in your country.
E nesse momento, quando o senhor falou, Deus falou no meu coração.
And in this moment, when you said that, God spoke to my heart.
Que esse sangue que foi derramado aí
That
no
this
país,
blood that has been shed in the country,
no seu país,
in your country,
Está escrito lá em João 3,16.
It is written in John 3:16. God has loved the world so much
Sangue
that this
já
blood
foi.
has already been annihilated.
Agora vai tomar posse de tudo isso que está dentro do teu coração.
And you will take possession of everything that is inside your heart.
Muito obrigado, presidente. Que Deus abençoe a vida do senhor. Pode contar conosco, comigo, pastor Dantas, da Igreja Renascer em Cristo. Amém?
Thank you, Mr. President. You can count on us. You can count on me, Pastor Dantas, from the church Renascer.
Querido presidente, aqui fala o jornalista e pastor Xavier,
Dear President, I'm a journalist and a pastor, Xavier,
do jornal Fala Guarulhos.
of the journal Speak Guarulhos.
Quero dizer que nós estamos, a partir de hoje,
We would like to say that we are, starting today,
empenhados
engaged
em levar ao povo brasileiro
in taking to the Brazilian people
toda a verdade sobre a Amazônia.
all the truth about Ambazonia.
Conheci o pastor Ivo
I have met Pastor Ivo
em algumas reuniões das igrejas
in some church meetings,
e me simpatizei, e quando vi a bandeira da Amazônia, algo falou mais forte no meu coração.
I had a connection with him, and when I saw the Ambazonian flag, something spoke to my heart.
E fui pesquisar sobre o seu país.
And I went to research about your country.
E quanto mais eu pesquisava, mais eu me tornava um cidadão do seu país.
And the more I researched, the more I became a citizen of your country.
Por isso estou focado em permanecer mostrando para o Brasil e o mundo a verdade sobre a Amazônia.
And this is why I am focused on continuing to show the Brazil and the world all the truth about Ambazonia.
Espero ter o privilégio de, muito em breve,
I hope to have the privilege of very soon
estar na sua posse,
to be at your inauguration,
mostrando para o Brasil e o mundo
showing Brazil and the world
que o senhor é o verdadeiro presidente da Amazônia.
that you are the true president of Ambazonia.
Hoje o senhor está nessa condição,
Today you have this condition that you're in,
mas o nosso Deus jamais esquecerá de você.
but our God has never forgotten you.
Muito obrigado, querido presidente,
Thank you so much, Mr. President,
por essa oportunidade de estar falando com você.
for this opportunity to speak with you.
Estamos à disposição
We are at your disposal
para pelo menos uma vez por mês ou uma vez por semana
to at least once a month or maybe once a week
estarmos transmitindo daqui do Brasil, em conexão,
to be transmitting from Brazil in connection,
levando a palavra do Senhor para o Brasil e o mundo.
taking your word to Brazil and the world.
Porque Jesus disse que não se acende uma vela
Because Jesus says you do not light a light candle
e se esconde ela,
and hide it,
mas antes se coloca
but you put it
no lugar de destaque para que todos vejam.
in a high place so that everybody can see it.
Então nós somos
So we are
a luz do mundo
the light of the world.
e vamos fazer a palavra de Deus
We are bringing the word of God.
resplandecer no mundo,
We'll make it shine to the world,
mostrando a verdade
showing the truth
que os nossos irmãos aí da Amazônia estão passando.
that our brothers in Ambazonia are going through.
Tem aqui no Brasil um amigo
You have here in Brazil a
e um
friend
jornalista
and a journalist
que a partir de hoje está junto com você.
that from today is with you.
Transmita o meu abraço a todo o povo amazonense.
Let my embrace reach out to all of the people of Ambazonia.
Muito obrigado.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you very much. What I can tell you is there is no people that will forget their friends in the days of distress.
Não há nenhuma pessoa que esqueça os seus amigos no dia da adversidade.
The people of Amazonia embrace the nation of Brazil as their older brother.
O povo de Ambazonia abraça o povo do Brasil como seu irmão mais velho.
What we are going through, you had gone through in your history.
O que nós estamos passando agora, vocês já passaram na sua história.
And because you decided to show us this love at this time, we can lean on your shoulders.
E por causa que vocês nos mostraram esse amor nesse momento, vocês também vão poder.
And I can tell you that very soon, just very soon, our bells will ring in Boya. And we shall all, probably the largest delegation to our inauguration will come from Brazil.
E muito logo, eu creio que muito logo, os sinos vão tocar em Bueia e eu sei que a maior caravana lá vai ser a do Brasil.
Thank you very much, and God bless our two nations.
Muito obrigada e que Deus abençoe a nossa nação.
Amém, querido presidente.
Amém.
Bom, senhores.